Good evening. Happy Friday. The weekend's here. I'm Laura Painter.
And I'm Chris Thomas. We do thank you for joining us on your Friday evening. Well, just hours ago, Governor Gavin Newsom released his budget plan for the new fiscal year.
This plan sets the tone for his last year in office and how the state spends its money. With California set to see the loss of more federal funding under the Trump administration, Governor Newsom remained optimistic while discussing the proposed budget, saying the state's economy is doing better than ever.
Okay, so ABC10 State Matters political reporter Jenny is joining us now to break down what's in it and what is not in it, huh?
It's been a busy week, Jenny, in the legislature for sure. So let's just start with the significance of the budget. Were there any numbers that really stood out to you? You've been digging into all of this.
Exactly, busy week, like you both said. I mean, the big number we were all looking for was that $18 billion deficit. That is what the Nonpartisan Legislative Analyst Office predicted back in November for the state for the next fiscal year budget. But Governor Newsom said actually it's going to be a modest shortfall. The number he gave was $2.9 billion. And so all eyes were really on, okay, what is the deficit actually going to be for the 2026, 2027 year? And again, compare Governor Newsom's $2.9 billion to what the LAO predicted at $18 billion. And they say the reason for that difference is, well, the Newsom administration had more time to account for some additional revenues that the state had in between those few months. And yeah, that is why we're seeing that big difference. And again, what the budget gap was expected to be.
Some unexpected revenue came in.
Exactly.
I know he said yesterday in his State of the State. Talk to us. I know a lot of times when people talk about budgets, they always say, you know, a budget is kind of like a statement of priorities. It's a statement of what people think is important at that time. In this particular case, where is the state investing money?
That is right on, Chris, a statement of priorities, right? And that is why we really examined this budget, because it's also, well, Governor Gavin Newsom is rumored to be running that shadow presidential campaign. So if he wants to step into that national spotlight, what is he going to prioritize here at the state level? Again, that can kind of set him up for that national platform. So issues, housing, affordability, homelessness, all of that was included in the budget as well. But another interesting factor was education, real big investment into education. And Governor Newsom, during his State of the State address yesterday, actually said this is historic funding that he's putting into education. Well, I talked with the Department of Finance today, a little more clarity on that. Voters passed Proposition 98. And what that is, it's an annual minimum guarantee of state funding into K through 12 and also college, community college programs. And so when there is an increase in the state's revenue, which we had over the last year into this year and then anticipated into next year as well, if there is more revenue, we are legally required to put more into Prop 98, that source of funding for public education. And so that is why the state has the additional resource to invest into education. And that is also why we heard the governor talk more about education yesterday and then also in his budget proposal.
Education is a real talker right now, as is the cost of health care, right? It was really a major factor in the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Talk to us more about federal versus state funding regarding health care, like Medicaid. What have you learned?
Under the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that we've been covering extensively now, we were anticipating those federal funding cuts on food assistance programs and health care programs like Medi-Cal. I think what was disappointing and quite frankly shocking for some people today is that in the budget proposal, Governor Newsom acknowledged those cuts. And he said because the federal government is passing down some of those admin costs to the state, we are able to make up for it. But he didn't guarantee any backup plan or contingency plan for the actual people that may be impacted. So basically right now, the budget proposal has no guarantee on how it'll kind of make up for the people that may lose out on some of those benefits. So I think that is what some people thought was a little peculiar because they were expecting more from the state in terms of that response.
Sounds like some questions still remain here and still left to learn.
Right.
Yeah, Jenny, we appreciate you always. Thank you.
We know that budget revise is coming up in May. We'll get more then as well.
Right.
Okay, Jenny, thank you. Well, President Trump met with oil executives at the White House today and hours after the U.S. military seized another tanker. It's the third oil tanker linked to Venezuela that was taken by the U.S. this week. ABC's Perry Russum has more from Washington.
New video from U.S. Southern Command shows the seizure of another tanker in the Caribbean, the third one this week. U.S. troops taking over the Olena this morning. Military members rappelling down ropes from this helicopter, fanning out, taking control of the ship. The Trump administration says it's a sanctioned oil tanker linked to Venezuela. President Trump today meeting with oil executives at the White House as Trump says he wants total access to Venezuela's oil.
All of the companies here today are going to be treasured partners in bringing the nation of Venezuela back to life, restoring its economy, and generating great wealth for their companies and for their people, and also great wealth for the American people.
In a statement today, Venezuela's government says it will initiate an exploratory diplomatic process with the U.S. aimed at reestablishing diplomatic missions in both countries. President Trump says he expects the U.S. will be running Venezuela and extracting from its oil reserves for years. Trump acknowledging to the New York Times it will take years to revive the country's neglected oil sector. The president has refused to rule out putting boots on the ground in Venezuela.
What would trigger a decision to send ground troops into Venezuela?
I wouldn't want to tell you that because, I can't give up information like that to a reporter.
A U.S. official tells ABC News a team from the State Department arrived in Venezuela's capital of Caracas today, less than a week after the capture of Nicolas Maduro. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Perry, thank you. The Associated Press says the president has yet to lay out how profits will be split, but he told executives to start making investments to get their share.
Tonight, the Natomas Unified School District's contract for services from the Sacramento Police Department has come to an end. The agreement previously provided 3 school resource officers. ABC10's Austin Castro breaks down how the district is navigating the new shift.
This week, schools like Inderkum High School have seen a big change when it comes to student safety. New school safety officers with the district are now here on campus as opposed to the Sacramento police officers that were previously here. At Inderkum High School in Natomas, Isaac Smith is one of 3 new school safety officers hired by the district, stepping into the role as students return from winter break. And while the title is new, he's not new to Natomas USD.
I've been with the district for 10 years. I started off as a campus safety.
The change comes after the city of Sacramento ended its agreement with the district, which had previously provided 3 school resource officers.
We learned last year that unfortunately our contract with the city of Sacramento providing police services to us would be terminated due to the shortage that they have in the city.
In response, the district hired 3 school safety officers to help fill the gap.
We wanted candidates that not only had some law enforcement or something in the security area, but who had experience working with kids. Teens.
The district says it has also added additional campus safety specialists at 2 high schools as well as Natomas Middle School. Students we spoke with Friday say they haven't noticed a major difference during the first week of the change. Some tell us they actually feel less intimidated without police on campus. School safety officers like Isaac Smith say their focus is on building trust.
Continuing to build those strong relationships with students. Just being present, being inside campus, just walking around campus, just being seen, just making students just feel more comfortable around me because I'm new.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office adds they haven't been approached by the district to provide additional protection for the district schools. Now, the district points out that Sacramento police won't be removed entirely. Instead, they will still be present in a smaller capacity around campuses as needed. In Natomas, Austin Castro, ABC 10.
Well, coming up, the most common New Year's resolution and the hidden danger behind it.
And later, your national park trip just got more expensive. The new passes and new fees.
We're tracking some breaking news tonight. Close to 30,000 PG&E customers in Tuolumne County are without power as we speak. Just take a look. This is a live look at the outage map. As you see there, several cities in the county are impacted. Now, according to this map, it will take several hours to restore. And this as we are tracking a very cold night ahead. And so we have reached out to PG&E for more information, trying to learn more. Stay with us for updates, of course, throughout the evening. Meanwhile, if you put health care as a top goal in 2026, you are certainly not alone.
Yeah, does this sound familiar? Exercising more? It's the most common New Year's resolution this year, according to a recent YouGov survey. But experts urge you to be careful.
Mandy Gaither explains why exercise injuries tend to spike in January.
You've vowed to exercise more in 2026. That's a great goal to get healthy, but experts have a workout warning they hope you heed.
We see a very predictable spike of very preventable injuries in January every year.
Dr. Andrew Carbone with Orlando Health says after the holidays, motivation tends to spike while conditioning is at an all-time low. And he says social media often drives the rise in injuries.
There's one social media trend now with the kettlebell swing, 100 kettlebell swings a day for 30 days. You know, that kind of stuff will cause overuse injuries.
That can include tendinitis, especially in the biceps and rotator cuff in the shoulder. Carbone says he also sees knee injuries this time of year, especially if a person suddenly takes up running.
You go from 0 to maybe running 3, 4, 5 miles. You're going to get a lot of patellar tendinitis, a lot of runner's knee.
To help avoid injuries, Carbone says to start slow, no more than 3 days a week, and incorporate rest into your regimen. He says that's when your body starts to build muscle. Don't follow social media trends. Instead, start with the basics like body weight exercises and core work. Consider getting a trainer to help keep your technique on track. And he says to remember, start with higher reps and lower weights.
Once you have the fundamentals like that, your core is strong, lower back is strong, your shoulders are good, then you can start to kind of play with increasing weights.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thanks, Mandy. Now, Dr. Carbone says you can expect to be sore after starting a new workout routine. I've been there. I've had sore buns and legs and arms for days. But if you're unable to complete the exercise plan because pain is affecting how you move, or if there's swelling that accompanies that pain, you got to go call a doctor. Honestly, Chris, do not wait around. I know you're pumping iron for your New Year's goals, right? In this suit. This suit.
Y'all know she's trying to be funny, right? I am not pumped iron, but I have tried to increase my cardio this year. That has been my goal, was to increase. I don't want to pop out of this suit, girl. You know how that is.
I know. Well, then you can go shopping for a whole new wardrobe, and then I can come along with you.
I see where you're going there.
I'll be there eating chips right next to you. Would that work?
I have to ask you, salt or sweet?
You know what? I'm kind of gearing into the salt this year. Yeah. After decades of sweet treats.
Yeah.
I think I'm feeling the savory.
I've always been salt. Look at us. We're supposed to be talking about exercise, and we talk, oh, girl, you want some salt or some sweet?
Yeah. We'll go to the gym, just watch people do it. Yeah, I like that plan.
We are going to do more cardio this year, though.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Maybe a little bit more traveling, too. Look at this here. Next at 5:30, planning a trip to a national park. Why, it just got more expensive.
All right, and we're continuing to track our weather forecast. As you can see, a likely warmer one as well as drier. How long this stretch will continue?
Welcome back. It turns out planning a national park trip just got more expensive for some who plan to visit.
New interest fees and digital passes took effect January 1st. The National Park Service now offers America the Beautiful passes with ID checks at the gate. Non-U.S. residents must pay a new $100 fee at 11 of the busiest parks. Annual passes now cost $80 for U.S. residents and $250 for non-residents.
Yeah, fee-free days are also now limited to U.S. residents. Officials say the money goes back into park maintenance and visitor services. Parks impacted include Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, and more. You can find more information on our website, abc10.com.
Let's turn to your weather now as we take a live look outside at Highway 50 at Myers Road, where some people looks like they're about to head up those slopes, driving up the hill. Monica, a lot of snow at the side of the roads, but it's good to see that black of the road, right? It looks like smooth sailing. Is it going to be that way for long?
I was thinking the same thing, Laura. What a different view that is than what we saw certainly over the weekend and early this week as well. Top things that we're going to be tracking for the weekend for the valley: frost and fog. Holiday storms are giving us big water gains, plus a long dry stretch ahead. So just want to kind of buffer that with the amount of rain that we've seen so far, because we are going to head into a pretty deep dry stretch. Cold weather alerts continue across the coast there. So if your travel plans take you there, just be aware, bundle up pretty much region wide. We're going to be dealing with these cold temperatures through the weekend and early next week. Patchy frost and fog. Average lows, by the way, are 39 degrees. So we're going to be pretty much close to that, but a little bit below it is going to certainly give us the chill. And it's already feeling cold. Once we get past sunset at 5:03, temperatures really start to plummet. So once we dig deeper into the 6 and 7 o'clock hour, things will start to feel pretty nippy out there, with temperatures right now in the upper 40s to right around the mid 50s. Tahoe right now at 28 degrees. Highs for today rebounded nicely, considering that we started off in the 30s. Highs warmed into the 50s up and down the valley, near 50 for the foothills, and 30s and 40s for the Sierra. But with those morning lows in the single digits, again, skiers and snowboarders are definitely going to have to bundle up. Not to mention for the valley, morning lows in the 30s, patchy frost and fog will definitely get our attention and wake us up early tomorrow if you're out there getting going for the Saturday morning. Satellite and radar, we've got the clouds coming in from off the coast, but the storm track is going to stay to the north of us. This is going to be the first dry weekend of the new year, a soggy start to 2026 and January. But again, when we look at the statewide precipitation, we're well ahead of what we should be this time of year. Southern California dealing with quite a Santa Ana wind event going on right now, but given the recent rain, they're actually more concerned about power outages and trees coming down than, say, a super high fire danger. Quite a contrast to what we saw last year at this point. So again, the high pressure ridge will continue to keep that storm track and the wet weather into the Pacific Northwest. Once we dig deeper into next week, we're still looking at dry conditions. Don't be surprised if we see some of that Thule fog making a return, though, which will keep those temperatures down a little bit. Highs in the meantime kicking off the weekend in the 40s for the Sierra. 50s for the foothills. Across the coast, highs are going to warm into the 50s, but that after morning lows in the 30s, especially for inland areas. Inland areas for the valley, capital region, we're in the 30s for morning lows, afternoon highs in the low 50s. Our extended forecast will keep it dry here for the next week. A good stretch of dry weather. Foothills, we're right back into the 60s for afternoon highs. Remember that in December. Our extended forecast continuing to showcase the cold morning lows, afternoon highs in the 50s, putting us pretty close to average, a little bit warmer next week.
Okay, Monica, thank you. Well, coming up, the Golden Globes are just around the corner, and a movie shot in Sacramento has a chance of winning big. Let's get you to an update now on that breaking news. Firefighters are at the scene of a reported lithium-ion battery explosion. This is happening at the Pacific Ultra Power in Chinese Camp. Localized evacuations of the plant have occurred. Thankfully, there are currently no injuries being reported and all employees have been accounted for. Now, we do have a crew en route to the scene. We'll bring you live updates throughout the evening, but here's what we know so far. Close to 30,000 PG&E customers in Tuolumne County are now without power tonight. We were just showing you a live look at that outage map. It was showing how several cities in the county are being impacted. And according to this map, we're told it will take several hours to restore. Of course, we are learning about that explosion at the plant. Thankfully, the employees are safe, but of course, we are seeing some of the residual impacts of that explosion. 30,000 folks without power tonight, and of course on a night where we are dealing with some very cold temperatures. So it's something that we're going to be tracking throughout the evening on air and right here on the ABC10 app. Well, meanwhile, the 83rd annual Golden Globe Awards are set for Sunday, and one battle after another is the lead movie contender with 9 nominations.
And parts of that movie were actually shot in Sacramento.
Yeah, it stars Leonardo DiCaprio and is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. They are both up for acting and directing trophies. The movie Sentimental Value and the movie Sinners also has numerous nominations. As for TV, The White Lotus and Adolescence are up for the most honors. So a lot to look forward to this weekend, especially with some of the cold temperatures. Yes. Although Monica was saying that finally we've got some dry conditions, so maybe people want to get out and enjoy it. Right?
Exactly. It always seems like we're trading one thing for another, right? You're thinking about the fog we've experienced, that deluge of rain and flooding we had, and now it's cold again. Time to keep that winter gear around. Just keep all this stuff, the umbrellas, the boots, the scarves, maybe even some shorts and sunglasses, because you're going to need them all.
Pretty soon you will, right? Well, thanks so much for joining us. You can watch us anytime right here on the ABC10 app.